Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, good morning, Night Nation. Good morning, Orlando. This is Andrew Phegley, and this is Knightline, the morning after. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. Really appreciate everything that you do. We are live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio and the 1148 studios because I am at home. And we're brought to you by the Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. We're taking your calls, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line here, and your text at 21232, or you can reach me on Twitter at AP_Knightline on Twitter. Sam Albuquerque is in the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio. Sam, how are you?
Doing well, Andrew. Doing well. How's everything? It's
good. We're starting to get back a little bit of normalcy. I have to say that word right this morning. It is Knightline the morning after, by the way. And we have Roger Bengal on the phone, I believe. Roger, can you hear me? Are you there?
I am, and I am. Good morning, Andrew.
All right. Good. It's all working smoothly so far, it looks like. So that's a good thing. All right, so there was the return of some live sports this weekend, which I'm extremely happy about. Normally we talk about UCF on here, but a little bit of UFC as well this week, which was live last night, UFC 249. I was just happy to be able to watch something that was not a rerun on, ESPN or whatever network that you watch your sports on. Something was live. It makes me extremely happy. I was actually nervous to watch live sports. It made me nervous. I always get excited about the UFC because I love it. But I actually felt like, oh my gosh, we're actually going to see live sports. Is it going to happen, or is it not? Is something going to go wrong in the last second and they're not actually going to do it? But they did it, and it was beautiful. Did any of you guys, Sam or Roger, get to see any of that stuff?
Well, for me, I didn't get to watch UFC last night. Unfortunately, I was covered up with the work thing. But I was super excited that we actually had a live sporting event, just like you, Andrew, because it seems like we're getting trickles of good news, and potentially that could help us long-term in the football season. So super excited that it was live, super excited that they actually played it. And, as you know, I'm a big UFC fan as well. I just wish I would have been able to catch it last night.
Yeah, it was awesome. Sam, did you watch any of it?
No, I did not catch it. I caught most of the highlights though on ESPN this morning, and last night when I got home, I was doing some other personal stuff. But it's what you said, Andrew. I'm very glad that we have live sports again, something that starts to show that it might just be individual sports moving forward, but if we have golf, if we have tennis, if we have UFC, that's enough to hold us over until the fall comes and we get football back. So I'm really happy about it. I also want to shout out my guy, Jacare Souza, who tested positive and was supposed to fight last night in this card, but he unfortunately tested positive for coronavirus. But I'm sad for him, but I'm happy that UFC is back, and I do enjoy it, and it's one of these things that a glimmer of hope is what we need right now, and we got it last night with UFC.
Yeah, do you know him?
Yes, I do. He went to my old church he's a member of.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, that was really the big news not early in the week. It was just yesterday or the day before that came out that he tested positive. They were really good about doing all their testing. I mean, I think they said that they tested upwards of 300 people, and he and two of his crew tested positive. Although he never really made it into their buildings and stuff that they had, set up, the hotel or anything like that, because he told them that immediately, like in the parking lot, that he had a family member or somebody that he wasn't sure if they had it or not. So they tested him, away from everybody else and his crew as well, his ring crew, and 3 of them were positive altogether, which is horrible. They were all asymptomatic, but they did test positive. Thank goodness that the whole thing, that didn't take the entire event down. Unfortunate for him, it took him out of his match and the guy that he was supposed to fight. But when I heard that, I was like, oh no, the entire thing isn't going to happen. But the Florida State Athletic Commission and the UFC worked it all out where it was able to happen. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of that sport. So just for that to go down, I've been waiting. We were talking on Knightline last week about watching all of these reruns and stuff. And I'm not a big fan of all these reruns that they've been showing of all these sports, just because I would much rather watch live sports, and I know what happens in most of these games, especially the UCF football games they've been replaying on like Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, and the radio, and I'm not a big fan of that because I know what happens in all those games, so it's not exciting to me. Now I do watch UFC fights a lot. I have the UFC Fight Pass, so I watch lots and lots of old fights just to kind of remember what happened in people's careers and stuff like that, getting ready for a live event especially. And so I feel like that's a little bit different. I don't know. What do you guys think about the replays and stuff that have been played, I guess? Either one of you.
I mean, for me, replays are what they are. I'm kind of with you on they're not as fun or exhilarating if you know what the outcome's going to be. However, I will say that in the absence of anything, I'd much rather have something to watch. So I think it is kind of neat that UCF did this partnership with a company to be able to show certain games like the Stanford game, et cetera, in the absence of anything else. So they are taking it as an opportunity to kind of placate and think about the fan base and keep the energy up around the games. I do like I think there are some things that were moved around. So like the Jordan special that was done by ESPN was moved forward. It wasn't originally supposed to be aired there. And I mean, as a sports fan, I'd rather have something rather than nothing. I'd much rather have UCF football rather than nothing. I like the fact that there's different commentary. There's some commentary that's not necessarily the network broadcasters, more the local commentary that's put on there. But I'm with you. I mean, at the end of the day, who doesn't want live sports? I don't want to know what the next thing is. I mean, think about how a comeback feels, right? If you're watching a UCF football game and that Memphis game where we were down like almost 30 points and we come back, you don't know what's going to happen. You feel that emotional punch in the gut, and then they come back and win. That can't be replaced by a game that you already know what's happening and you know that we're going to come back and win. So that's just my take on it. I personally will watch it just to get my fix every once in a while, but it's not something that I'm going to be consistently watching like I would during a live season.
Yeah, Sam, what do you think about the replays? I mean, you're a big sports fan as well, so.
Yeah, I feel I have a weird perspective on watching replays of games. It almost feels like games that I didn't rewatch, I kind of don't like as much as the ones I did rewatch. So me and Chris do Fan Zone every Saturday here on ESPN 580, and we started rewatching games and breaking down our reactions to it. And we did the Peach Bowl last week, and I watched it completely enthralled. I loved it. I had so much fun watching the game because I remember how I felt and where I was and what, and certain things that you remember how you thought the game went, and you forget about it. I remember when Jared Stidham had that fumble in the beginning, I think at the end of the second quarter, and I forgot who picked it up and started running it back, but Shaquem Griffin had this huge block, and I completely forgot about it. I got out of my seat and I verbally yelled. I was like, "Woo, that was sick!" It's something like that. Like it was one of those things where like I remember how I felt in the moment and how excited I was about that game. I was. It was New Year's Day. I had my entire family in my house. Nobody was really watching the game but me, because my family's not huge college football fans, and most of them didn't go to UCF. So I was just locked in, and everything around me is being distracted. So there was these things that I missed, and when I rewatched it, I forgot certain pieces, like that Shaquem Griffin block, like the Matt Wright missed field goal in the fourth quarter. I was like, to be honest, I forgot that the game was that close, that Auburn had a chance at the end to tie it up. I thought by 2-3 minutes left in the game, it was clearly in hand for UCF, and it was one of those experiences that when I remember it a certain way and I rewatch it and I sort of knock out those not truths that I thought were true in my head, or how I remember the experience going. It was still fun, and it was just like, it just makes me rethink about how I felt about that game and that experience of it. So that's to me more fun than rewatching an old game that I've never seen before. Okay,
well, yeah, and that's a different perspective. So I really hadn't thought about it like that, of thinking like about how you felt at the time and comparing or whatever, just remembering how you felt at the time. I guess that would make it a little bit more exciting. So maybe I'll watch some of these things and look at it like that. I know that they replayed the Super Bowl. Obviously, I am a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, if you don't know, and I have not watched that over yet. I will watch it at some point. I have it on my DVR, I think, and all that stuff. But I'm ready for sports to be going again. NASCAR is coming up this next week, I believe, or the week after that, coming back finally. That's another thing that I'm a big fan of. College sports, though, we're not sure. The NCAA president this last week, or just a couple of days ago, said, quote, "You can't have college sports without colleges open," which is kind of true. He wants the schools to be reopened before their sports. It doesn't have to be fully open, he said. It doesn't need to be running their full normal model, but the majority of it has to be going before we can have college sports. And so that kind of, maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel on that. Maybe there's not. Roger, you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is light at the end of the tunnel. Just reading the tea leaves and listening to all the ADs and conference folks, what I've been seeing a lot of is basically people saying that we're okay if not all the schools in our conference are going to be able to play at the same time, right? And with Emmert coming out and saying this, I think it's actually pretty big news, because what he's saying is, hey, if you're doing online courses, we really don't want to play a football game. However, if your campus is open, and we've seen in the last couple of weeks a bunch of ADs and presidents come out and say, hey, our campus is going to be open this fall, you can play football. Now, if the conferences themselves have, a bunch of different teams in different states, which is kind of what's happened in college football now. The American, I think, has like 11 different states that it's in. That could create a little bit of wonkiness, given the fact that not every school and every state has the same rules as to what can be open and what cannot. So, to me, that also opens up the door and the opportunity to, okay, well, let's say a school in California can't play, but the schools in Florida can. Does that open some scheduling opportunities with some of these P5 folks, maybe some SEC schools? during the course of the season. So to me, one, it's great news because you're basically validating what all these ADs and folks are saying, who are saying we will play regardless of if all the people in our conference can play, because that was a big question. You're having the NCAA president say, hey, we can play games as long as you're open, and it provides us an opportunity potentially to have some interesting scheduling opportunities as well.
Well, scheduling, I'm not sure about that, because if changes will be made, just because scheduling takes place so far ahead. It's years ahead most of the time of the actual season that it gets played. So I don't know how they would do that real time, like, make a new schedule all of a sudden because certain schools can't play. It'll be interesting if that happens. To some UCF news really quick. In the second segment of our show coming up here, I'm going to play Mackenzie Milton had a Zoom call this week with the media, and I'm going to play that. It's about a 12-minute clip of that. He had some news, though, saying that he was going to shoot for the 2020 season to return. He said it's about a 50-50 chance if he had to bet on it. He has an appointment coming up with his doctors at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota coming up, and he will have to find out what the doctor says. If the doctor says that he's clear, then he will do it. If the doctor says that he's not, he'll keep working to get there. We're going to take a break really quick. We'll be right back on Knightline the morning after, and you will hear that KZ Mackenzie Milton Zoom call. Back on Knightline the morning after here in just a couple minutes.
Night Nation, this is Adam, one half of the dynamic duo that is the Sons of UCF, which is found only on the Knightline Sports Network. Join UCF Mike and I each week as we bring you some of the latest from in and around UCF sports, including such great segments as the Josh Heupel Translator, Top 8 Lists, and Cow of the Week. We'll also bring you some of the most in-depth and unique interviews with some of your favorite former Knights. You don't want to miss a moment, so make sure you subscribe to the Knightline Sports Network wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll take care of the rest. Go Knights. Charge on.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney is our commitment to you at Chad Barr Law. I'm Chad Barr, and as a UCF alum, I am proud to present Knightline, the morning after show, Central Florida's only call-in show dedicated to our UCF Knights every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And remember, if you or a loved one are injured in an auto accident, call us at 407-599-9036 to schedule your free consultation or visit us at chadbarlaw.com. Our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices Altamont Springs. Go Knights, charge on.
The Sharing Center is a nonprofit reflecting Christian generosity by providing basic necessity and sharing God's love. The Sharing Center works to prevent hunger and homelessness locally and to give a helping hand to those who are struggling. Visit thesharingcenter.org to get involved with this ministry.
Consider Sato Sushi for your next night in, be it for the family or a date night. Sato Sushi and New Japanese offers online ordering and doorstep delivery to bring your favorite sushi rolls and ramen bowls straight to your home. Offering a wide variety of contemporary Asian dishes, pick a family meal of pork bao buns, sushi party packs, ramen kits, or Kalbi ribeye stir fry. Order through your favorite delivery service or at satosushi.com, providing local delivery from the Sand Lake and Baldwin Park locations.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is now hiring. If you have 2 years or more of plumbing experience but are not making $60,000 to $100,000 a year, don't have your own company truck to drive home at night, and great benefits like health insurance, vision, dental, 401k, and more, contact Ben Franklin Plumbing at 407-848-1515. 407-848-1515. 407-848-1515. You must pass a criminal background check, have a clean driving record, and pass a drug test. Equal opportunity employer.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, like my friend Tracy there said, we are back on Knightline the morning after. This is Andrew Phegley, and we are live from the... I've never messed up my name before. A little stutter there. I apologize. That's funny. Live from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio and the 1148 studios, and brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. He will take care of you, I promise. We're going to go to the Zoom call now from Mackenzie Milton earlier in the week. These are some highlights. It's about a 12-minute clip, and you can hear it from KZ's mouth. This is what he had to say earlier this week on the Zoom call with the media.
How would you describe your kind of progress? We've seen a lot of videos of you out there working out, doing things, throwing the ball around. How has your progress been during this time period, and how do you feel physically, I guess, going through the last 8 weeks or so?
You know, I've been making a lot of progress. Been going into therapy just about every day at the school. They still got the training room open for about 5 of us that are long-term injured guys. It's me, Brandon Moore, Jordan Davis, Alec Holler, and Jared Baker, all knee guys. So we've been in there rehabbing just about every day, and we all been making big strides. And, you know, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong, upper body, lower body. But, you know, there's still a long ways to go. And I'll go see my surgeon in little less than 2 months at the end of June. And, you know, we'll see what he says when I get up there.
What's a tough moment during this rehab that you could share that you've had to work through, and how did you get through that tough time?
Man, there's been a lot of high moments and a lot of low moments. I'd say the toughest thing has just been just staying mentally strong throughout all this, just being patient throughout the whole process. You know, breaking down scar tissue, it's extremely painful. But, you know, once you start seeing the progress and you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, it makes it all worth it. You know, I guess it's like the saying, you know, no pain, no gain. So just been kind of with that. And, you know, it's been a tough process, but it's also been an eye-opening one. And, you know, I feel like it's been good for me in a way.
Mackenzie, just thinking about maybe a positive that has come out of this, do you feel like you've become almost more impactful to people after the injury, as you've become almost like a symbol of hope as you've fought back from this?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, performing on the football field is one thing, but, you know, how you carry yourself off of it is a whole nother thing. And, you know, I try to represent, you know, UCF and, you know, the name on the back of my jersey with pride. So, I'm a symbol of hope for people, you know, that's gone through, you know, tough things physically. You know, that's great. And I just, you know, I definitely want to get it back on the field and just, you know, show people that, you know, you can overcome tough obstacles. And, you know, I'm doing it for others, but I'm also doing it for myself, just to prove to myself that I could do something special.
When you first kind of talked about how you wanted to come back and play football again, I think that there were a lot of people who really doubted that you would ever have the chance to do that again. But kind of as you've progressed and people see you throwing now and moving around and the big braces off your leg, I think it seems more realistic now. Do you feel like the doubters fueled you at all? And do you feel like even to yourself, it's more realistic that you're going to come back and play again?
Honestly, it's not so much about the doubters because, from my freshman year, there's been doubters, just me being able to perform on the field. So it's not necessarily about that. It's about, people that have gone through this who haven't been able to make it back, like Zach Miller on the Bears, going through a tough injury, and then seeing people who have had a tough injury like this, Jalen Smith being one of the best linebackers in the NFL, with dislocating his knee his last game in college and having nerve damage. And in my opinion, he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. So it's not so much about the doubters. Like I said, it's just something for myself. And, the guys going through rehab with me, going through that struggle with each other it's not easy, but it's not so much about the people that don't believe in me because, that's natural. That's all. There's always going to be people that don't believe in you. It's more so for myself and, my family. And if people can draw hope from me, then that's great. And, because I'm one that hope from, like I said, people like Zach Miller, people like Jalen Smith that have been through, people like Teddy Bridgewater that have been through stuff like this. So, people have done it before, and, I definitely think I'll be able to too.
I saw a post from Jan Garcias that you went over and threw the ball with Britt. We see people around the world trying to lift everyone's spirits with just little acts of kindness. What did it mean for you to go over there and do that?
Yeah, Britt's our number one fan at UCF, and, like I said, everything's not as bad as it seems, and everything's not as good as it seems. So, someone like Britt, she puts things into perspective like me, and, she treats me like I'm her brother, and I treat her like she's my sister. And, you wouldn't, just talking to her, you wouldn't expect anything's wrong with her. And, all she sees is love and hope. So, I love going to hang out with her at her house, and, it's just a big UCF family. And, all the support I've been getting, not just from Britt, but from others, has honestly been, a big help with me going through this rehab process. And, if I didn't have that support, that's where I'd be.
You've talked a little bit about being on campus, going through rehab and stuff with some of your teammates. Is it weird not having the whole team there and kind of being almost like a ghost town, I guess, on campus?
Yeah, it is. It's extremely quiet. And, yeah, it is weird. The parking lot being empty at Wayne Bench, nobody riding bikes, nobody running around. It is weird, but it's kind of become the new norm now. So I feel like it's going to be weird once everyone's back, and, just adjusting to all the coaches being back, all the players being back, all the support staff being back. But, I look forward to that time when everyone is back. But right now it's been the new norm, and honestly, I've been enjoying it. It's a little more quiet. There's not as much pressure, I guess, but you just get in there and grind, and it's been good.
Do you envision a time where you'll be able to be the athletic guy that fans grew accustomed to? Do you think you will get all that back eventually?
I sure hope so. I mean, like I said at the beginning of this injury, if I'm not, to the level I was, or, surpass that, then there's no reason for me to be out there. But I feel like, I'll be physically better, and I feel like mentally I'll be even sharper, just having mental toughness going through all this. So I sure hope so that, I can give our fans and whoever's supporting UCF, what they pay for with season tickets, and, give them a good show, because that's what it's all about, performing in front of the fans and, getting wins on the board.
Is it still too soon to say that you would be, ready in 2020? And if it is, have you at least made strides during this time that makes you more confident that you could be out there at that point?
Yeah, it still is my goal. And like I said, I'll go see my surgeon in June, and I'll know a lot more at that point. So, but, that being my goal, that the reason I set that goal is because I want to approach my rehab every day with the idea that, I'll be ready to go for fall camp, and I'll be able to go for North Carolina in our first game. And if I'm not approaching it that way, then, I feel like I'd be missing days in therapy, not working as hard as I can. So that's why I've set that goal. And, I hope to reach that. And if I don't, then it is what it is. I'll just keep knocking down block by block. But hopefully when I go up to Minnesota at the end of June, I'll get some good news.
First you, then Dylan. How would you describe that Hawaii pipeline to Orlando and UCF. What's the reaction of UCF in Hawaii, and who's the next great quarterback coming to Orlando from Hawaii?
Yeah, it's been a special thing to see Orlando accept us with open arms and kind of adopt some of our culture into Orlando, and it's become like a family atmosphere out here. So it's been special to see that. And we got another offensive lineman, Lokai Paole from Kamehameha High School from Hawaii as well. So it's not just quarterbacks, it's other guys too. There's a lot of talent out there. And you saw the NFL draft. There's a lot of guys from Hawaii that got picked up. So hopefully we can get another QB out here. I'm not sure. Dylan probably knows the young guys better than me because I'm kind of an old head now. But Dylan would probably be the guy to ask to see who the next guy out here would be.
Mackenzie, outside of staying at home and going to an empty facility, train and recover, what have you been doing and how have you stayed active? It looks like you went fishing the other day.
Yeah, so I've gone fishing before, but I never caught any fish. So went on a Wakaiva River down near Altamont. It was beautiful. Caught my first bass. That was a blast. But at home, I've been doing some home workouts as well. Been playing some video games, been playing 2K, been watching a lot of TV. I'm watching Ozarks right now. But just TV, hanging out with my mom, hanging out with the dog. Really, honestly, been trying to stay indoors as much as possible without, besides going to the school. Just because I don't want to, put anyone at risk out there. But, doing some workouts on my balcony and, watching TV and video games is pretty much about it.
Mackenzie, what's the dynamic right now with Dylan Gabriel as, you've kind of coached him, watched him evolve and become a bit of a star as a quarterback while at the same time you're trying to come back and play too?
He's like a little brother to me. Like I said in past interviews, he's way further along than I was as a freshman. And, that's a credit to his hard work and, how hard he pushes himself in the weight room, the training room, and in the film room. But I think it'll be a little more competitive once I'm like fully cleared and stuff like that. And we're all competing for that job with me, Dylan, DJ, Quadri, and Parker Navarro, who's coming in as a freshman. So, but at the same time, whoever's at the helm, we're all going to support each other. Like I did last year. It killed me not being on the field just because, I played football every year since I was in the second grade. Been playing tackle football since I was in the second grade. So it was tough watching, but it was also really rewarding seeing, a young man to my high school. And I was at the same university as me and, he's going to do some special things here.
Mackenzie, if you had to put odds on whether or not you're ready to go based on how you feel right now, what do you think they would be?
Dang. Tough one, man. I'm not a betting man, so I can't really say. But right now, I honestly say maybe 50-50. It's still up in the air. I've been making big progress, but like I said, I still have a long ways to go. And I'm not sure what my surgeon is going to say when we go up there in June. I hope that he clears me, but like I said, if he doesn't, it is what it is. It's been a long, hard process. And, like I said, I've learned patience throughout this. And, if I have to wait longer, so be it. If not, and whatever he does clear me to do, then I'll take that and run with it.
Alrighty, well, that was Mackenzie Milton, UCF quarterback. If you don't know who he is, if you're listening to this, I would be surprised. But he is the quarterback for the UCF Knights that was injured last year or the year before at the game at USF. Dislocated his knee and really has had a time coming back from that injury. Very big injury. Could have lost his leg. Luckily he didn't, and luckily he is making his way back. But I think about him, how lucky we are to have experienced all of this with Mackenzie Milton and to have a human being like him as a Knight, because not only what he does on the field, but what he does off the field is a really big deal. And he does everything with grace. and does everything to his best ability. And to see the transformation of him from when he first came into the program to now, after going through all this, is absolutely amazing. So I wish him the best recovery to get all of this behind him and all that stuff. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about what was going on in that conversation, what he said, and what we're looking forward to him. Back on Knightline the morning after here in just a couple of minutes.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Through all that's happened over the last couple of months, the moms in our families have emerged as the true heroes. They've become our teachers, our personal chefs, our everyday champions in a time of chaos. At the same time, those places that moms love, the salon, the local boutique, her favorite restaurant, have suffered. So, at International Diamond Center for Mother's Day, we want to celebrate Mom and support local businesses at the same time. So with any Mother's Day purchase at IDC of $250 or more, we'll buy a $50 gift card to Mom's favorite local small business, so she can enjoy some alone time at those spots she loves, the ones that keep our economy going. This year, more than ever, make sure Mom knows she's appreciated. Come pick out a beautiful piece of jewelry she'll cherish forever. And the gift card is on us. International Diamond Center, online at shopidc.com. Happy Mother's Day.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is now hiring. If you have 2 years or more of plumbing experience but are not making $60,000 to $100,000 a year, don't have your own company truck to drive home at night, and great benefits like health insurance, vision, dental, 401k, and more, contact Ben Franklin Plumbing at 407-848-1515. 407-848-1515. 407-848-1515. You must pass a criminal background check, have a clean driving record, and pass a drug test. Equal opportunity employer.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, folks, we're back on Knightline the morning after, live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio and the 1148 studios. The VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio is the only legal sports book in Central Florida. Go out there. I'm not sure if they're up and going right now after all this, but when they are and if they are, go out there and check that out. It's absolutely awesome to go on those cruises that they do. Very, very fun time. We are brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. We're going to talk a little bit about what we just heard in the last segment, the interview with Mackenzie Milton, the Zoom interview. Roger, what were your thoughts on that, on what you heard there?
Well, to me, I mean, you were kind of getting into the emotional side again a little earlier, and I think for a lot of Knight fans it is, right? I was just thinking, wow, I would love to have Mackenzie Milton as my son. I mean, you listen to him speak, and he is very matter of fact. He's very logical in his approach. He's clearly working really, really hard to get back to where he wants to be, which is on the football field playing for all of us. He sounded very positive and upbeat. I mean, when this first happened, as you said, we were all worried he was going to lose his leg, let alone being able to walk normally or throw. I think the example he used, throw a football with his kid. And now we're talking about him getting to the point where he feels like he may be able to get on the football field again. And he said all along that if he can't perform at the same level that he was at before or better, he won't come back. Now, the interesting question to me is, how far does that recovery go? How fast does it go, right? Because he has the opportunity where he could get a waiver for another red shirt if he wanted it. He talked about a lot of different a quarterback room is like stacked if you think about all the names he rattled off there. But at the end of the day, I, as a UCF alum, and to your point, am extremely proud to call Mackenzie a member of the family, right? He does things like you heard him talk about throwing the football with Britt. He had the Better Man initiative that he does and all of this stuff. So he's a great football player. I loved watching him. You never knew what he was going to do. And then he's just a great person. And listening to him talk about it, I think we're all rooting for him to come back. We've all had delays that we wore to the games and all that stuff. But he's a lot more positive, and he sounds extremely determined to me. And when you have someone who is extremely determined, who takes a positive nature throughout all of the adversity that he's been going through, I mean, and Andrew, you can speak to this, an injury like that, just having the fortitude to go in every single day and work through the pain of getting yourself back to where he is today is a testament all on itself. It takes determination, grit, a lot of pain, and I'm extremely happy to hear him talk about it in such a positive manner. I can't wait even if he comes on for a few snaps and plays, for a few snaps or a half or a series or whatever at some point. This is Mackenzie Milton is ours. His family is ours, and I think we're all super excited to hear him talk about it. And quite frankly, if you would have asked me this when it happened, no way would I think we would even be entertaining this conversation like we are. We were hopeful, but at the time, I mean, there was just no way you could imagine us, especially this quickly. Yeah,
progress has definitely been made. We've seen, clips of him, walking and throwing, and we haven't really seen him run or anything like that very much. But we have seen, definite progress be made. And yeah, not a lot of us thought that anything would ever happen. I'm still a little bit skeptical if he will get back on the field. But if anybody can get on the field, it would be him. Sam, do you have thoughts on what you heard from Mackenzie?
Yeah, like Raj was saying, it's really good to hear Mackenzie being so positive after all the stuff he went through after seeing that injury, not live because I wasn't there, but on TV. I thought it was done. I thought the guy was not going to be able to play ever again, and it kind of starts to sound like he's starting to get out there. I saw a video of him throwing to Gabe Davis and a couple other former UCF players the other day, and it brings a smile to your face when you see a guy who's that mature at that young of an age. I think Mackenzie's 21 years old. That for me, that was like 6 years ago, and I could never be in his position where all my hopes and dream of playing a quarterback or playing football or whatever my dreams was almost taken away from me completely. And being that mature and that level-headed to approach the rehab process that he's going through, and to answer all these media questions with such poise and such just maturity. It's crazy to me to think that guy's 21 years old or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and, we wonder if we're going to see college football this year, this season. We still have a couple of months to get all that worked out. But if he does come back for some reason and there were not fans in the stadium, that would be a complete disservice to him and everyone else, because that will probably be
one of the, if not the most emotional moment for Knights fans at all. I mean, ever. It would be a huge, huge thing. I don't think that if the stadium is full, if the stadium's not full, there will not be a dry eye throughout Knight Nation at that point. Roger?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I don't care if the stadium isn't full. I'm going to be at home, and there won't be a dry eye at Knight Nation. But I will say this: when we're watching him play, and when I've seen training videos of what he's going through, I mean, he's doing one-legged presses and a bunch of other things. I just think with McKenzie, there is that big question mark as to whether he can get to that performance level that we all want him to be at and that we've seen him. I mean, this guy, I have in my living room a McKenzie Milton Heisman lei that I was able to procure. And this guy went from this level to coming back and fighting his way back. I mean, this is like one of those Rudy stories that someone will make a movie about if he manages to come back and play at any semblance of the level that he played at before. I can't describe to you, and I think everybody understands the gravity of what he went through. There are a few examples. You've got the Lamar Jacksons of the world, and a few other people that have gone through this, come back from a knee injury, and have played well. I just hope for the best, and I think I speak for everyone when I say we are all rooting for him at a level that very few people in sports, and this is a unique thing, ever get to root for someone. And not just him as a player, but him as a person, and, as him as a member of the Ohana. So I can't wait to see it if he does come back, and more power to him.
All right. Well, also a little bit of news this week about Brandon Moore, which McKenzie said in that interview. It wasn't in what I played there. That was just a clip of some of the stuff that he said. But he kind of reported that Brandon Moore is doing cornerback for the Knights as well. That actually dislocated his knee as well, not nearly on the level that McKenzie did, but last season he did that in one of the very first games, and he's on his way back as well. And McKenzie says that he is doing amazing things and getting back very quickly and should be back this season as well, which is pretty exciting. So that's even more good news to come out of that Zoom call with McKenzie Milton. These Zoom calls are kind of a thing as well that are it's a new thing through this whole COVID-19 thing. But thank you to UCF for making people like that available to talk to, especially McKenzie and coaches and all kinds of people. It's been, very helpful through this to keep up and to be able to talk about stuff that's going on with the Knights. Roger, tell us about some stuff that we're going to talk about in the next segment. You have a little bit of a list of stuff. Real quickly, tell us. We have about a minute, so tell us about something we're going to talk about when we come back.
All right. So for me, recruiting. We had some live recruiting to talk about. Joey Grant, former Knight, had some recruiting software that he put together, and then Buddy Dyer's Mask Gate. I think that'll be a little fun to talk about as well. But recruiting.
All right. Well, we will get into that when we come back. We're going to take a break here, and we will be back on Knightline the morning after here in just a couple of minutes.
Golick and Wingo.
ESPN MLB insider extraordinaire Jeff Passan.
Major League Baseball owners have significant obligations financially. We also know that politicians to investors. We don't know a whole lot at this point.
Hey, Jeff, real quickly, while you're in the kitchen, can I get a cup of coffee and a side of hash?
And I feel seen right now. Was it before touching
There
the
was some
pancake?
clinking in the background of plates, and it sounded like you were at a...
Luke, quiet down, buddy. Come on.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Through all that's happened over the last couple of months, the moms in our families have emerged as the true heroes. They've become our teachers, our personal chefs, our everyday champions in a time of chaos. At the same time, those places that moms love, the salon, the local boutique, her favorite restaurant, have suffered. So, at International Diamond Center for Mother's Day, we want to celebrate Mom and support local businesses at the same time. So with any Mother's Day purchase at IDC of $250 or more, we'll buy a $50 gift card to Mom's favorite local small business, so she can enjoy some alone time at those spots she loves, the ones that keep our economy going. This year, more than ever, make sure Mom knows she's appreciated. Come pick out a beautiful piece of jewelry she'll cherish forever. And the gift card is on us. International Diamond Center. Online at shopidc.com. Happy Mother's Day.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I am Andrew Phegley. We have Roger Nightbingle on the phone and Sam Albuquerque back in the Victory Casino Cruises.com studio. We are brought to you by Chad Barr Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. Roger, you wanted to talk a little bit about recruiting. This is kind of a short segment at the end here, so we have to jump onto a couple of topics, but start us out with that recruiting thing that you wanted to talk about real quick here.
Okay. The big news is, hey, we've got recruiting on campus again. That had not been happening recently. We had a junior day on Saturday that included dozens of recruits that were 2021 recruits. In fact, we actually had a tight end that we've been chasing for a while, Gunnar Greenwald, who committed to the Cows recently, but he's in a UCF Space Game uniform, so I thought that was kind of ironic. We also had a large Miami and Gator commit on campus. A lot of the guys that we were looking at were running backs, offensive tackles, and linebackers as we start to shift back into that as we have attrition for people that are seniors. Another big name that was on site was a QB recruit by the name of Cameron Ransom. He's from Armwood, 6'1", 201 pounds, dual threat, a very speedy guy, can throw the deep ball really well. And then also we picked up a commitment from Ronnie Hamrick. He's a cornerback from Georgia, 3-star commit. He's number 81 cornerback in the country and the number 66 overall player in Georgia, so another top 100 player as a junior. And he has 2 picks, 28 tackles as a junior. So big, that guy's a big recruit. A lot of people were after him. So super excited about having guys back on campus so they can get the full campus experience from our recruiting because that really sells. UCF really sells itself when they get there. And then lastly, from a recruiting standpoint, we also are in the mix for a kid named Elijah Weaver. This is on the basketball side. He's currently a USC point guard. He's 6'5", 210 pounds, and would potentially be an immediate transfer for us to help us with that point guard situation. So we were in the mix for him a while back. There's some coaching variability there, and he's looking for a new home. And indications are that he's taking a really hard and serious look at UCF.
All right, well, that's good. Definitely, we can add to that basketball team. Definitely got some open spots there with we've got at least one transfer that I know coming from Louisville that should be good there. And it's good to hear that recruiting has started again, basically started back up with having kids on campus and stuff like that. Very, very good. I know we lost a kid this last week to Georgia Tech, which was kind of a bummer, but that always is going to happen. And I think he's from that area. So, stuff like that happens.
Noah Collins, he's from Atlanta. So there.
Yeah. So, things like that happen. But I think, honestly, and I know that there's going to be people that disagree with me, but I think that the recruiting thing, from what we've been able to do with this whole COVID-19 thing, I think the recruiting is going pretty well. It's very early to start, doing all this recruiting and having kids on the list that have committed and stuff like that still, because we still have a football season to play before that goes. Real quickly, let's talk about the mask gate thing that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so a little bit of interesting news. It certainly made me cringe and laugh at the same time. Orlando's Mary Buddy Dyer, who has been a great advocate for UCF, was wearing or doing a press conference, and he had his alma mater on his mask. So I have a UCF mask, but he had a Gator mask on, and that sparked some controversy on social media. And what was interesting about that to me was just the fact that now we've gotten to the point in social media where there was some negativity around it, and he actually came back, and one of his deputies, who used to be an SID here at UCF, came back on with a UCF mask, and then Buddy Dyer the next day, he actually addressed the online presence, and then actually wore a UCF face mask as well. So, you've been hearing a lot about our social media presence, and obviously it is being heard by our local leadership.
Yeah, this whole conversation took place on Twitter where, he was called out for wearing the Gators mask, and that's fine. To wear your alma mater, but when you're the mayor of Orlando, it's probably a better thing to wear the UCF mask. I mean, anybody can wear. I'm glad that he had a mask on. I don't know if it's the time to have a mask on while you're doing a press conference, because people need to read lips and all that stuff. I guess there's an interpreter there, but. I'm just glad that he finally, admitted or said that he would put and did put on the mask for UCF. It shows, good pride for our city, and I think that our mayor should have that. All right. Well, it's kind of been an action-packed show here. We got to a lot of things. We got to hear from Mackenzie Milton. Thank you, Roger, for being on the phone today from the Panhandle. Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate it. And we'll be back the exact same time next week on Knightline the morning after.